Nexan has just released the new Mobiway Boost cable drums. And in this review, we're going to look at the features that they offer, the good and the bad bits, and determine if this is a cable installation revolution or just a cool innovation. My name is Mitch. I'm a Sparky from Victoria, Australia, and I also make the Solo Sparky cable roller at solosparky.com. Let's go. First, let's look at the features that make the Mobiway different. So the cable itself, it's just 2 TPS, 2 core and earth. It's available in 2.5mm or 1.5mm. The 2.5 comes in 110-meter rolls, and the 1.5 comes in 150-meter rolls. So a little bit different to the standard 100-meter cable drums that we're all used to, especially that 150-meter roll of 1.5. It can be a good thing though. It means that you won't have quite as many leftover bits of cable as you would when you're finishing drums off. A noticeable absence though is 1mm. Now it depends on what part of the industry you come from, whether you think 1mm is good or bad, but like it or not, the vast majority of new volume built housing, at least here in Victoria, is done in 1mm. I did get to speak to a rep from Nexan though, and they said that the 1mm was coming, as well as twin and STI. For the moment though, if you're doing domestic, your lighting is still going to be done with traditional 1mm drums on A-frame. Now let's look at some of the cool stuff, the innovation of these drums. Now the first thing is obvious. These are designed to roll, which means that there's no need for a cable stand or cable rollers when using them, which is awesome. The motion is achieved by a silicone spray that they put around the edge of our drum. Now, a little drawback we'll get into later is the silicone spray does appear to sort of go all over the drum, which can be a little bit of a problem, but we'll get into that. The next bit is the square construction and the rubber feet. So on each corner of our cable drum, there's these rubber feet, which has 2 benefits. Makes it really stable on surfaces. It's not going to slide anywhere on a slippery surface. But it also means that it's going to protect that surface from damage. So timber floor, nice polished concrete or carpet, it's not going to damage it in any way. The square construction also has some benefits too. So it means that we can stack our cable. So if we pop them together, we can stack them. You can stack them up really high, which is awesome if you're going to run a few cables at the same time. They all just run off together, which is awesome. The other benefit is when we put them on the side for normal storage, they designed to nest together like that. So really cool, a little bit unstable on my table, but yeah, really cool way of storing them. The drums also have an integrated carry handle, which is cool. So makes it easy to carry a cable around, which is always a bonus. And the last thing, of course, is that these are designed to be reused. You simply take your cable drum back to the wholesaler and you'll get a credit and they'll be reused again, which is awesome. At the moment, I think my wholesaler is offering a $3 cashback, which is cool. Well, how does actually using them go? Well, from the use I've had with them, the rolling system works really well. Comes off smooth, stays flat. I have heard some reports that as you get a bit further into the drum, it loses its smoothness a little bit, but I haven't experienced this. The cable drums are light due to being plastic, which is good. But that does mean that as you get to the end of the drum, the cable will pull the drum with it. We already experienced this with normal cable drums. You can't fix everything. This does bring us to that silicone spray used to facilitate smooth travel on the drum. Silicone spray works as a lubricant. So when you spray it between 2 surfaces, it reduces friction and allows smooth motion. You would usually find it on things like garage door tracks or pulleys or hinges, any number of things. Now, this is a really ingenious solution. No need for a bar for the drum to sit on, or no need to have bearings, which are expensive embedded in the drum. When I picked up my boost drum, there was silicone spray over different bits of the outer side pieces, as hopefully you can see from this footage. Now, this is obviously a side effect from the manufacturing process. And besides, to make sure that the drums keep spinning, they need to put a lot of silicone spray on there anyway. Now, why does this even matter? Well, because it's all over the drums, you tend to get silicone spray on your hands. And whatever the drums touch gets silicone spray on that as well. Now, if you're doing new construction where a bit of silicone spray on unfinished floors or whatever you're touching doesn't matter, this is a non-issue. But if you do most of your work in people's houses or in commercial businesses with finished floors, carpet, nice clean walls and ceilings, we might refer to this as service work. Where do you think all that silicone spray will end up? That's right, it's going to end up all over those nice floors and those nice walls and ceilings. As an example, I was unloading the cable into my garage, and I might have been shooting some footage and moving things around a bit, and I accidentally got silicone on a light switch in the house. I've been afraid to bring the drums actually into the house or any client's house because of this. I won't even load them into the cab of the truck because it will get on the seats. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't clean and remove the silicone from the drums or from whatever it touches, but it's something that I don't want to have to deal with when I'm on a job, which is a shame because I feel that this is probably the strongest use case for these drums. Small service jobs where only 1 or 2 drums are required, inside a house or a facility with some type of finished floor where we need to run cable. This should probably be its bread and butter, much like you would use a box of Cat6 cable. Your traditional A-frame is definitely not the solution, and this is where a product like the Solo Sparky comes in. Small and compact, and it has soft foam feet to protect your client's finished floors. Well, what about transportation? The inclusion of carrier handles is great. Big tick there. And it's nice not to have to shove your hands through the drums. But saying that, it's nice, but is it really the end of the world having to carry a drum of cable the old-fashioned way? That's for you to decide. The potential issue I actually see is the added bulk of the drums. Now let's make it clear, for a lot of people that have a nice big work van or truck, fitting these drums in is no problem at all. But if you have a truck like mine and space is at a premium, it will be an issue. Hopefully you can see from these photos how much space they take up. It's not huge, but it does make a difference. A real strength of this product is that they are reusable. The idea is that you don't throw them in the skip at the end of the day and they go to landfill. You take them back to the wholesaler and you even get a small cashback. How sweet is that? I will just point out though that the plastic in a normal drum is recyclable. And if the drum is not damaged, I don't see why they couldn't be shipped back and reused in the same way. Time saving is a huge selling point as well. No need to set up an A-frame stand, pull out some boost drums and just start pulling cable, especially if all you need is 1 or 2 drums for that small job. But what if you're doing a rough-in? Well, same thing, pull the drums out, set them up and start pulling cable in. But anytime I do a rough-in, I still need twin for my 2-ways, SDI for the interconnect of the smoke detectors, and maybe 4 or 6mm for a cooktop or a shed or an air conditioner. So at the moment, until Nexan expands their range, if you're doing a rough-in, you're still pulling out that A-frame for these items anyway. I am skeptical about how much time it would actually save you on big jobs though. I think it's probably a couple of minutes at most. For small service jobs, that would save you some time and make it easier to move around tight spaces like hallways and small rooms. The final item I need to mention is the price. This is where, for a lot of us, we may not be able to justify it. Like it or not, and as cool as this product is, those cable drums are way more expensive to produce than a simple plastic molded traditional drum. Even the ones that they get back will require labor to check over, transportation to get them there. They might need to be cleaned or reconditioned slightly, re-silicone sprayed. So there's a lot to it. At the time of filming, based on the prices that I'm getting at the wholesaler, the difference per meter is not a lot. It's about 9 cents per meter for 2.5 millimeter and only 2 cents per meter for 1.5 millimeter. That's really good. So for a 100-meter drum of 2.5, it will cost about $9 more, not including the drum cashback, so make it 6. For 1.5, you're only behind by $2 per 100 meters, and you still get the cashback, so somehow you're ahead $1. Of course, this is based off of the price I got at the time, which, considering this is a new product, might be discounted a bit more than, say, a long-term price. You will need to factor in what sort of prices you received from the wholesaler at the time. But it seems like Nexan are trying to be very competitive, so you might find any price difference worth it. If you're doing a big job, these small differences will add up though. To sum up everything, the Nexan Mobiway Boost is a really cool product, and it's awesome to see some innovation in this space. When I first saw one at a wholesaler, I was really excited. I went up and grabbed it, had a look. But I think it's an innovation, not a revolution. I don't think the old school cable drums are going away anytime soon. The Boost cable drums are really good in a few situations. If you have enough space in your van or truck to carry them, if you're using them in places that you aren't worried about that silicone spray getting on things like new construction, or if you need to do small service jobs where that silicone spray isn't an issue. So if you fall into that category, go and pick one up, see what they're like. If you've used them, maybe you love them. Share it below so that other Sparkies can learn from your experience. If you're like me and you don't fall into this category, it's probably back to the normal cable drums. Because of the space restrictions in my truck, the extra cost, and the fact that most of my work is in clients' houses with nice finished floors, ceilings, and walls, I'm sticking to old school cable drums on my A-frame, and for those small service jobs, my Solo Sparky.